Hello, this is Laszlo Vasco with Micro Adventures, and today is going to be a pretty fun day. We'll have a great adventure with a 1956 Super Cub, Piper Super Cub, PA-18. These things came out in the early 50s. This is a 1956, and the PA-18 is basically a strengthened version of the PA-11, which was called the Cub Special, but that in itself was an evolution of the original yellow J-4 Cub that everybody is most familiar with the Piper Cubs. Super Cubs are very, very popular, especially with backcountry flyers. They have really great performance. This one is a little bit even more unique because it's actually the lower horsepower. So Super Cubs mainly came with 150 horsepower engines, Lycoming engines. This one has a 90 horsepower Continental engine, and it doesn't have flaps. Originally, these only had a single wing fuel tank. This one has double, so it's got 36 gallons of fuel, which allows you to, that engine would allow you to go forever, I guess. I used to fly the J-4. That was sort of the second tail dragger that I originally was checked out in and flew back a long time ago. I did get my tail wheel in the Champ, so I guess I'm partial more to the Champ Citabria line of airplanes, but the Cubs are super fun. The J-4 Cub, you fly from the back seat because the fuel tank is up behind the engine. And so that's what I'm sort of used to with these, and it's actually really neat to fly them from the back seat. But we'll see how this one works. This one you fly from the front seat because all Super Cubs, you know, with the fuel tank in the wings, and even the Cub Special with the PA-11 has the fuel in the wings, allow you to fly from the front. So today I'm down here at Smyrna, Delaware, and we're going to be flying further down with my friend Dan, who's a AMP. We're going to be looking at another Cub that has some engine troubles. So come along. I forgot how slow these fly.
Say again?
I forgot how slow these fly compared to the Cantabria.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really an enjoyable airplane just to go up and cut around in. And,
Yeah.
I mean, but if you take a trip in this thing, it's going to be an adventure. But it's going to take you all day.
Yeah.
It's just a nice, honest, put it down where you want it.
Yeah.
You can operate this out of 500 feet pretty easily. You see, even with us two in here in full gas, we got 36 gallons of gas in it. It didn't care.
Okay, so we're in Sugar Hill, Delaware. And we actually ended up driving down instead of flying the Cub, but we're going to work on another Cub. Here's Dan. Working on taking off. We're going to take the cylinder off. There's no compressions in one of the cylinders, but this is really neat. It's a 36 Piper Cub J-4. The J-4 is the side-by-side version of the Cub. Yeah, then was explaining that the young guy just bought this from California. He flew out, got the endorsement to fly tailwheel, and then proceeded to fly it back across the U.S. and flying it above the Rockies, which took him a couple tries. And it is in really neat shape. Cluster. Of course, the Piper was headquartered in Lock Haven, PA. And that's where these guys were made, which is a great place to fly into. I'll have to, I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I'll have to do that and visit. Right, so I'm going to get going on removing the cylinder. All right, we spun the prep around a number of times to sort of double check, make sure we're removing the right cylinder. And then you can definitely feel, because you feel the compression, a normal cylinder, and then you definitely feel it when there is none. So we're progressing to now remove the triple link cylinder. Let's see if I could pan this down. And remove the rocker cover, and we remove the exhaust, the baffling. You can kind of see how it is on this side. And so, by the way, this is a A65 Continental engine, which is sort of the precursor, and it's very similar to mine. So mine's the C145 or 0300. So ignore the different ways as they started to change their numbering scheme. But mine's the C145, which was preceded by the C90, which is in the 150s. And then this was pretty much the precursor to it, being a 65 horsepower. So it's sort of like a mini brother to the one in the 170, the C145 engine. And so we'll proceed with now taking off the cylinder bolts, and then it will pull right out. As you could see, for those that are into cars and work on cars, a big difference is there is no cylinder head. Cylinder is all one piece, and so hence to be able to work on the valves or examine the valves, you don't have the opportunity to just remove the head. You got to remove the whole cylinder, and to be able to get to looking at the valves, or we're still not sure obviously what's wrong with it until we pull it off. So for these engines, you have the camshaft running in the bottom of the crankcase. And this one was overhauled not too long ago. It was just pickled. So actually,
it was actually overhauled in 2005.
In 2005. Yeah, so that was a while ago.
20 years.
Yeah.
Damn near 20 years.
So we weren't sure what we were going to find, and this is what we found. Here's the cylinder. We found that the cylinder is actually in good shape, along with the valves. You can see the bore. Nothing was rusted. The valves are seated nicely. And here's the push rod tubes driving the rockers from the camshaft. So we actually didn't see anything amiss except for having gunk, or probably from the pickling process. The piston and the rings were gummed up. But anyway, it's a good shot of how these engines are almost, well, all the classic flat air-cooled aircraft engines are in this configuration. This one is about 170 cubic inches, giving you only 65 horsepower, and you can see how big cylinder and the pistons are compared to a car engine. And of course these chug along at around 2400 RPM all day long, compared to, so they're more similar to boat engines, if anything. Okay, so while we were working on the J-4, next door is actually what looks like an L4, which was the World War II version of the J3. So this one is actually a J3. It was made in '46. It was just retrofitted to match what the military version of it, which was the L4. You can see the US Army L4B version of this plane. So this is sort of the original J3 Cub in military uniform, with the spotting windows. So I used to sit, didn't they used to sit backwards?
They could turn around backwards because there was a radio set in the back. They have a radio operator back there.
Aha, right.
The
Yeah,
pilot
and
would
look
sit
on
in
the
front
other
of the station,
side.
the radio operator sits in the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you could see the fuel tank for the J3s and the L4s is up in front. So solo, you would have to fly it from the back. But yeah, so Dan, what you're saying is, and for the spotting operations, the pilot would be in the front, and then, yeah, you can switch around and then sit backwards. That's pretty neat.